In the introduction, I mentioned about these internal movements, how important they are to martial art applications. The importance are twofold. One is, if you practice Tai Chi Form with the internal movements, then in a few years you will develop the internal energy and internal power, which you can use as facets in the Tai Chi martial art. Facets is very unique to Tai Chi martial art. It is a kind of force or power delivery, a very short, very sudden, kind of like an impact force. So by practicing the internal movements, you will be able to develop that. Now in my DVD series, Classical Tai Chi DVD series, Volume 3, I talk about facets quite a bit, so I'm not repeating here. But the other important aspect is the body structure, the posture, the stance we have talked about in this exercise, internal movement exercise. They are also very important to martial art application. So today, I will pick some simple move in the push hands to illustrate the importance of this move. I just want to review with you the first exercise we did. In that exercise, we talk about that we bring our body forward by pulling from the front leg and energize the abdominal. Notice, and no pushing from the back leg. So it's a pulling from the front leg and energize the abdominal going forward. And the heel has to be firmly on the ground, almost like you feel like the heel is hooking onto the ground when you go forward. In other words, you really stretch your body. There's a stretch here. So in this way, you keep your balance, you go forward, you will not feel like you're tilting forward. So this aspect we want to demonstrate in the push hand. Now, at this point, Linda is pushing forward. And George is defending himself, sitting back. You see, in the pushing forward, the posture is the body and the leg is on a straight line, and the heel is firmly on the ground. And also, when she pushes forward, she is using the abdominal to pull herself forward. The reason is, if she is not using the abdomen and the front leg to push forward, but use the back leg to push, George could immediately feel his forward momentum that she could pull her. She will be out of balance. Because if you are pushing, you will feel you are out of balance, forward out of balance. But if you don't push, but with the abdominal and the front leg to pull you forward, with the heel stick on the ground, so in other words, your body is stretched forward, you will not feel the out of balance. So this is why we said going forward, you want using the abdominal and the front leg to bring your body forward. Now in that case, you can keep on going without a feel. You're tipping forward. Right, the straight line, and the heel is firmly on the ground. So now she has a very powerful stretch in her body, real stretch. So now he is pulling me. Say you're pulling me. So I'm going forward, and I'm loosen my shoulder. So you see how much farther I can stretch with this way, because my heel is on the ground and my body is just extended, stretch. I loosen my shoulder so I can go very far away. So he is cramped. So now I just turn my body like this and knock him off. If I'm not turning at the waist, okay, if when he pull me and I'm not turning waist, I will try to turn hip. Immediately, I'm going to fall because I don't have the stability. So that just shows you cannot try to turn your hip because I don't have the stability. And when you're turning at the waist, you have a stability here because I'm turning like this. Now, so the heel on the ground and the body stretch out is giving you the stability. But there are other applications with it, because I can utilize this stretch, the stored energy in my stretched body. For example, so he's pulling me. So I'm now stretch. But since I'm stored some energy in the body by my own stretch, I can do this. Because I can reclaim the power and throw him. Because my body stored energy, so I can utilize that power and throw him. The other one is, if he is pulling me, I can also utilize the stored energy in the body to go forward. So in both cases, I'm utilizing the stored energy in the stretch of the body. Okay, George is going to pull Linda again. The reason why we don't push forward is because when he pulling her, she can use her abdominal and front foot act as a brake, as a resistance force to slowly to control her body going forward. Okay, you pull. Yeah. She could use this as a resistance force and control her body going forward. If you are pushing, then you have no resistance. Just push yourself forward and the opponent can throw you. Okay. Now take a look again at their foot. Their feet are parallel and all facing forward. They don't turn their heels back in and so forth. Because if they're leaning forward, you turn your foot in, you affect the stretch, the amount of stretch you have. Your stretch is much better if the 2 feet are parallel. If you sit back, your foot turns in. Again, your structure is unstable. People can really push you off. So the 2 feet parallel and facing forward. Now the sitting movement here, let's look. The sitting movement definitely is a defensive movement. So when Linda is pushed over, so he is defending and sitting. So you're pushing forward. Yeah. So he is defending, he's sitting. He's sitting. So the sitting posture with the toe lifted, so that this heel is hooked onto the ground to help you to stabilize yourself from falling back, because this is stretch. So instead of pushing the front foot, your front foot actually stabilize your body from falling back, so you don't push. So you are using this to go back. And again, because you are using the abdominal and the back foot, you have a kind of like a resistance to the incoming force. You have a braking force from the incoming force, so you can break it. And also, the hook of the heel is help you to break. So now he sit back and has to have a crease here, and he can now turn his body at the crease to push Linda off. Right. And again, in this, George's throw sideways through Linda has to have a very stable pelvis and only turn at the waist. Because if George turns his pelvis, if you turn your pelvis right, Linda could push him out. You can push him off easily. Once you feel he's turning his, again. So if you turn his, you can push him off. Because he does not have a very stable frame when he does that. Yeah. Right. So he has to keep his pelvis stable and turn with the waist. Right. Now let's look at the waist motion here. When you are sitting back in the defensive mode. So if he's pushing low at me, I will bending here to pull him go lower. If he is, no, not too big, not so big, yeah. If he's pushing at my chest area, so I just sit back, my body is straight to the ground and turn instead of going down. If you come in low at me, I'll go down too. Now, if you come high at me, this is in my exercise 7 and 8. So I'm using this posture. So now my body is a straight line to my leg, and I push his arm up and lift him over. So with a crease here, you have the flexibility of you going down. If you go down at me, or if you come straight at me, I just turn. If you go high at me, I lift him over. All the different flexibility. So you have to have the crease. Most people, when he push, most people doesn't have the crease. Now, if that's the case, you're stuck. He could easily push me off. So without the crease, with no crease is very, very different situation. With the crease, you can just adapt to where his power comes, low, medium, high. And that the high position is in the exercise number 8 we have practiced. Now let's look at the step size. We don't do the form with that kind of step size, but the outside Tai Chi, there are a lot of people using big step size. They feel, okay, now he's stable. So when I push, he is so stable in this way that I cannot push him, okay? It's true. When you have a bigger step, you handling the force coming from the front is much more stable, okay? But the problem is, when you have bigger step, the force comes from the side. You cannot weaken. Your resistance weakens because you are bigger step. So in this case, you don't want to push him forward, but you want to use side force. Because the larger the step, the weaker the side force. the weaker the side force, the larger the step, or even the lower, they cannot take the side force. You feel that?
Yes.
While if you have a smaller step, if the opponent applies side force to me, say he's pushing me on the side, you see, I can easily step aside and push. But if I have a bigger step, he applies side force to me, I cannot move. The step is too big. If he pushes side move, I just cannot get away with it. But with small step, when he tried to push sideways to me, I can easily move. So that's the reason we don't have huge steps. The huge step is aiming toward front, only a good resistance toward the front. But when side force comes, you can't defend yourself. And you are stuck, such a big step, you can't move. So that's why our step size is always small. But we have the mobility, we can move, so forth, which is mobility is the most important thing in Tai Chi. You don't want to have stuck on the ground, that kind of situation, which is not a Tai Chi. Okay. Now, in exercise number 4, we talk about the arm connect to the core move, right? In martial art application, like the push hand, you constantly have to connect the arm to the core, so that when she is pushing forward, I can, move my, turn the body, or I can using the core. So you need to constantly, in the push hand, the arm, drop the shoulder, stretch the shoulder down, connect with the core, so they can use your core power anytime you want to. For example, if you push, the other way I could is actually do this. So in addition to the waist movement, so when she comes, in addition, I can turn using the waist. Suppose I'm using the waist to the extreme already, okay? Now I can add to it is the quarter body move. The arm connects to the core move. So in addition to the waist, now I have this. My waist is not moving now, but it's just quarter body. Arm connects to the core. That kind of movement, or this. That is, you have to, elbow have to connect to the core all the time during push hand. There's no let up, okay? No relax, always connected. So any moment you can do this or this, any moment you find the opportunity. I just want to review the exercise number 4. We turning with fixed pelvis and turning at the waist. You see, all the turning is here. My shoulder is relaxed. And you probably can see when I'm turning this way, actually my lower abdomen goes the other way. So it's a twist like this. I just want to review the exercise number 4 we have practiced, which is connecting the arm to the core. So the kind of movement is like this. And once you are advanced on this connection, then there are a lot of other movement you can do the same way. So all these are elbow connects to the core is basically a quarter body movement, a quarter of the body. The other 3/4 of the body is kind of stationary. Certainly muscle is stretched all over, but the structure, the skeleton of the body, the bone structure of the body, all the 3/4 is stable, not moving.